All right, picking up where I left off. So the last slide in our first video was talking about ecological footprint. So look at this graph right here. This green line is the amount of space that we have consistently available to us for our resources, right? But the red line up here is the amount of resources that we're using. So notice this difference is not a great thing. So this ecological deficit is how many resources we're going above what's actually available to us. And remember, our planet can replenish those. It's just that they're not replenishing them as fast as we're using. Okay? So that's ecological footprint. And the last topic for our course is climate change. In the past 100 years, Earth's global temperature has risen approximately the same amount as it has over tens of thousands of years. So people, when they say the Earth's temperature fluctuates through history, yes, that's definitely true. But over the tens of thousands of years in the past, our temperature has gone up that much in the past 50, 100 years. So it's not that our temperature is rising is the main issue, it's how fast it's rising. The increase in global temperature is called global warming. What's causing this? The increase in greenhouse gases, which is carbon dioxide and methane. So what happens is when we get these gases in our atmosphere, they're trapping the heat. We get a constant amount of energy from our sun, right? And if these gases are in our atmosphere, it's trapping it and keeping it inside. Like a greenhouse keeps plants warm. These gases are keeping our planet warm. It's preventing those gases from being released into space. So we get our carbon dioxide from burning fossil fuels and through transportation. Those are the biggest forms or methods that we're producing a lot of carbon dioxide. Methane, we actually get a lot from cattle and livestock. They produce a lot of methane. Also from oil and gas drilling. So companies, this is called fracking, where they drill into the ground to capture some oil. So how does this affect us? If our temperatures are getting warmer, it's going to increase water level and the ocean temperature. So our glaciers are melting, and when they melt, they're releasing trillions of gallons of water into our oceans, which are increasing our ocean and water level. When that happens, we get a lot of flooding. The increase in temperature of our oceans is allowing our planet to be more prone to major weathering events like hurricanes. So that's obviously a dangerous side effect of this global warming. How else does this affect our planet? Well, if our temperature is increasing, we're going to have more drought and water loss. Not only will this create droughts, helping spread fires once they arise, but the water loss will negatively affect our biodiversity, right? And we just talked about how biodiversity is crucial for our ecosystems to survive. Our ecosystems are crucial for us to survive. So the loss of water, is going to affect the plants and the animals, the autotrophs and the heterotrophs within that ecosystem. Also, the higher temperatures were more prone to the spread of disease through pests as well. So these are just a couple of graphs that kind of show you the increase. This one up here is the amount of carbon dioxide emissions from the world, and it's split up by country. But we see, within the last 50 or so years, those have skyrocketed. They're very high. These are global average temperatures. See, it is fluctuating, right? But this trend of continuously going upward, that's what we're concerned about in this little amount of time. And this is our trend of where we see our sea levels rising. So I know that's very sad and depressing news, but what are some ways that we can help? So using less harmful energy sources, that can be at the individual level, but lots of companies and corporations are trying to use wind and solar energy because they don't release the carbon dioxide emissions, and it's still getting the energy that we need, but not being harmful to our atmosphere as much. If you use more public transportation, right, the less people are using their own form of transportation, less carbon dioxide are emitted into the atmosphere. Also consuming less meat. Remember, the livestock and cattle, they release a lot of methane. So the less meat that's consumed, the less need of those large areas of the livestock farms. And that's it. Wow. Okay. So going further on, so these are our last bit of notes. We'll spend a couple days reviewing this section. We'll have a short little quiz over just a section and then review all three and have our test thinking Wednesday of next week. All right? Email me if you have any questions.